Hello and welcome to Digesting the Soul. Today I wanted to discuss the topic of using vision boards to manifest your desires. And I've been using vision boards for over 15 years and I've had a lot of remarkable results. So what I wanted to do was share a few of my personal success stories and also provide you with a few tips that will hopefully help you be more successful when you're creating your own vision board. Now, the first thing to understand is that your thoughts are things. And when you have a thought long enough and strong enough, it is actually creating an energy form. And you're sending that energetic manifestation out into the universe. And if you can grasp the concept that the universe is receptive, that it's waiting to assist you in manifesting the things that you desire in your life, you'll be all that much more successful because it will help you to be consciously aware of the thoughts you're creating and the images you're producing in your mind. And that's why you hear again and again from people that be very careful when you're having a negative mantra that you keep saying, oh, I can't do this, I'll never do this, or imagining in your mind the worst case scenario. You really don't want to do that. You want to be positive, 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 even if it's difficult to believe. You really kind of got to use that term, fake it till you make it. So the first step is that your desire really has to be something that you're certain that you want. And I know that seems really simple and obvious, but sometimes we think we want things, but we really don't. And one way to measure that is what is your excitement level, your passion level, and are you driven? And that right there is going to help you be really successful, because sometimes in life we think we want a job or we think we want a relationship, but in reality we don't, and we try to manifest these things and it doesn't happen. So say that you want to manifest your dream home. Are you really excited about it? You'll do anything to make it happen. Are you going and looking at houses, open houses? Are you looking through magazines, trying to find your dream home? Like, you will know if you're passionate about it. Is it something that you frequently talk to people about it, that you're investigating, reading about it? Really try to identify if it is indeed something you're really passionate about, because this is going to help you be more successful. So the next thing is you're going to need to spend time every single day meditating and visualizing what it is that you want to manifest. And this is the great thing about using specifically the tool of a vision board, because you're going to go through the process of determining the specific image that represent what you're trying to achieve. Now, I like to get those really big white craft poster boards, and I fill it right to the edge. Sometimes it's overlapping my images. I go to a used bookstore where they sell used magazines, and I get magazines on all different topics. And in addition to cutting out the specific image that I want to achieve, I also incorporate words. So say you wanted to get in better physical shape and you want to lose weight and eat healthy, you might want to have words of like thin and trim, or eating right, or the words healthy or fitness, and in addition to perhaps having images of people who are working out or lifting weights or in bathing suits or a fashion model, whatever it is that symbolizes health and fitness to you. When you add on top of it words, then while you're viewing your vision board, you can kind of you're saying those mantras in addition to those images. Now, you really need to think and put a lot of thought, put a lot of consideration to where you're going to place your vision board, because like I said, you really need on a day-to-day basis to spend about 15 to 20 minutes at least once a day. And what I did was I love to work out on my treadmill. I usually spend an hour on it 6 days a week. So I put my vision board on the wall where my treadmill is facing. So every day I know for an hour, as I'm listening to music and working out, I am focusing on those images. I am repeating those words. And this will just create energy that builds and builds and builds the longer that you do it. And you'll also know whether this is a goal you're truly going to manifest and that you're passionate about it, is because you will look forward to doing that every day. You won't want to miss a day because you want this to happen. So one of the very first experiences I had with manifestation and using a vision board kind of came in an indirect, kind of backwards way, like many things in my life. And I was working at a medical research library, and a coworker of mine had a calendar, and she loved cats, and it was a cat calendar. And there was a specific cat on this month. It was a long-haired tuxedo cat, and I thought this was the most hilarious, cutest photo I had ever seen, and I would talk about it, and we would laugh about it. And I looked at it, you know, the whole month, 30 days, every time. I would see it every day that I went into work. So much that my kind coworker at the end of the month gave me the calendar picture, and I took it home with me and put it up in my house, and I'm so happy. I'll show it you here. This is the photo. I actually kept it, which is great to validate the story I'm about to share with you. There's the calendar back. So, and this was 1999, long time ago. And a few months after I'd received that picture on the calendar, I had relocated from a very tiny apartment, and I rented a very large farmhouse out in the country. And within literal weeks of relocating there, I started seeing on the edge of my property a cat, a tuxedo cat, and every day this cat would come closer and closer on my property till one day it was on the back of my porch, and I befriended this wonderful cat. And although he was very feral, I domesticated him to the best of my ability, and we had an agreement, and I loved this cat. And it didn't occur to me until after a few months that after I'd acquired this cat, it was the same cat in the photo. And how had this happened? Had I actually manifested this cat? Had I drawn it energetically to me after viewing this picture for 30 days? And I have a framed picture here of the cat. This is on my rural property. This is a picture I took, and this is the cat. And as you can see, very, very, very similar to the cat in the calendar. So this experience really piqued my interest. Of course, I love to do research and experiment, and I had to know, was this coincidence, or did I play a role in manifesting this in my life? So it was a few years later, and I had actually relocated cross country to the Pacific Northwest. And I'd relocated for a job, and I was very focused on career and money and my job at that time, and I'd got a wonderful opportunity, and I had bought a house. I was very happy and content there. If you've never been to the Pacific Northwest, it's very majestic with very tall, towering pine trees and majestic mountains. But it's very cold there. It's very cloudy most of the time, and the winters were very snowy. In fact, the last 2 years I lived there, over 100 inches of snow. So in my heart of hearts, I have always wanted to live in a subtropical climate. I like palm trees and swimming pools and water fountains, and my dream has always been to have a Mediterranean or Spanish style home. I love the clay red tile, the terracotta roof tiles on these houses, and the beautiful courtyards with wrought iron and the whole works. And so although I was, happy and fulfilled and things were going well in my life, I had created a vision board at that time representing these things that I desired. So I had this image of a beautiful courtyard with a 3-tiered water fountain. In the back, in the distance, were palm trees. And then, of course, I had an image of my dream home, this Mediterranean-style house with the terracotta tiles. And for years, literally years, I'd gone to my tiny little gym, I'd be on my treadmill, and I would just look at that vision boards with no real plans. I wasn't taking action to manifest this. It was just an image that I enjoyed, and I hoped one day to manifest. I mean, I think, it was so long ago. This is around 2004. I was probably thinking this is a place I want to vacation at the time. So long story short, after a few years, the job that I had relocated for, they went bankrupt. It was sold. My department was closed, and I find myself now out of work and looking for new employment. And obviously, that's very upsetting. It was very unexpected, and I'm thinking, woe is me. This is the worst thing that could happen. But as I was seeking new employment, an opportunity came up, and it was in the Southwest. And I remember flying in and landing and seeing all the palm trees and all the houses, the Mediterranean Spanish tile houses, and everywhere you looked there was a water fountain, and it was just overwhelming. I had never been to this area of the country, so it wasn't a specific place that I ever thought about or was trying to manifest, but it was matching what was on my vision board. And so when I was looking for a home, I actually did not get the first 2 homes that I put offers in. They fell through for various reasons. And at the time, again, it was very upsetting. It was very frustrating. It's a long process. But the 3rd house that I looked at, and it's the one that I'm currently living in, when I walked in the front door, it was literally almost exact what I had projected onto my vision board way back when. It had the palm trees in the backyard. It had an almost exact replica of the 3-tiered water fountain. The home was filled with wrought iron cathedral ceilings. It had the fireplace I'd always dreamed of. I mean, it was amazing, and it seemed like a miracle to me at the time. And the point that I really want you to take away from the story is that it took years. It took about 4 or 5 years for this to manifest. And I left it up to the universe. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't seeking a new job. I wasn't trying to locate to a warmer climate or a place where they had this architectural design. But I had put it out and was receptive to the universe that it would play out in my highest good. And it didn't play out like how I would ever have imagined, which was like losing my job and having to sell my current house and relocating and everything like that. But it really worked in divine timing. And so I would say to everybody, have faith that it will work out, and you don't need to work out the details. The universe will work that out for you. And the other takeaway is, I think people want, especially in this day and age, instantaneous results, and we can easily get frustrated by any type of delay. And my advice to you is, don't be deterred by delays. 100% of the time, anytime I've run into a delay, it was a very good reason, and because something didn't happen, something better came along. So you have to believe in divine timing. And I would say the takeaway is to remember that as long as in 3 years you met your soulmate, if that's what you are pursuing, don't get upset that 6 months have passed and you haven't met that person. That, of course, the 3 years is worth it if you find your true love and live happily ever after. If you don't get the job promotion that you wanted within a year, but 4 years later you land the highest paying, most prestigious job that you never could have dreamed, then like that 4 years was worth it. So you do have to be invested, and like I said, you will know if you are consistent and motivated and dedicated to your goal when the first year has gone by and you still haven't manifested it, and maybe the second year has gone by, and maybe you've even put in efforts and you've had some delays and roadblocks. Please don't give up, because time should not be a factor in you giving up on trying to manifest your dreams. And I've had this experience again and again and again, and something I truly believe now. So the last example that I wanted to share with you just happened in the last few months, and this is what really motivated me to make this video for everyone, because it manifested in such a unique way, and I didn't see it till the very end. I needed to replace the 2 air conditioners that are at my house, and it was going to be very, very expensive. And my ACs were breaking down like 2 and 3 times in the summer, and when it's 3 digits, like it's very difficult to endure that. So I knew like the time had come, and in the next year I needed to come up with the money to replace these ACs. So what I started doing is I created a vision board, obviously wanting to win the money. So thinking I was gonna win a lottery, or enter into some kind of contest, or maybe I would inherit it. I didn't know, but I kind of thought that I wasn't probably going to be the person through my own job who was going to be able to manifest this sum of money to replace the ACs. So I did that for several months, and the money didn't manifest, and now it came time. I needed to replace the AC before the summer. And what I ended up doing was getting a loan for 2 years, no interest free, and I started making the minimal payments, and I was just lucky. At least I qualified for the loan. I was able to get the air conditioners, and I didn't really give it a second thought. 1 year later, to the date, I had received in the mail my federal tax return and my state tax return. And I was sitting in my office and I was tallying up the 2 checks, getting ready to deposit them in the bank. And as I had my calculator and was looking down at it, it suddenly occurred to me that the sum of those 2 checks was exactly the sum of money that I had been trying to manifest for the previous year to purchase the air conditioners. And I have to tell you, I was just floored. I couldn't believe it. I was like ecstatic. And I had never put the pieces together, but I had indeed manifested it. And I think this is a great example because, again, I didn't think I had manifested successfully or in the time frame that I needed. And I thought the money was going to have to come from an outside source, but it didn't. And I really did achieve it. And so I think that's a great example, again, to never give up. And you just, you proceed forward. Like, I knew I needed the AC, and because I didn't have the money, I still proceeded forward. I got the loan. And in any scenario in which you're trying to achieve something, whether it's career or health or finance, be open to the universe and how it's going to play out, and just be consistent in your own efforts, how little and small they may be, and try to not judge it, and know that there's always a higher power working in your best interest. You have to remain positive and hopeful, and just do your best and have faith. So I hope these stories were inspiring to you. I truly, as you can see, believe in using vision boards as a tool. And if anybody has had any miraculous experiences using a vision board, I would love to hear about them. If you want to know more details on the step-by-step details of creating a vision board, there are people who have written books on them, and I've read a few of them, and they are very, very helpful. So that's all for today, and I guess I'll see all of you in my next video.